Hey guys, so after our Star Wars Rebels discussion, we are back to talk about, the rest of Star Wars Celebration, basically. I would say Rogue One, but we didn't really get a whole lot on any of these topics, so we're just kind of going to be, cherry-picking a few little topics and, talking about them. I'm here once again with my good friend Dizzy,
Hello?
and, I guess let's just dive right into it. So, before we actually get on to the new stuff, I just want to add a little bit of an addendum to the Star Wars Rebels discussion that we had.
Okay.
One was that I actually I listened to the Rebels panel, and Sam Witwer, who was the guy that played Starkiller in Force Unleashed, and he plays Darth Maul in Rebels and Clone Wars.
Yep.
He actually brought up Kyle Katarn.
Oh, he did.
Yes. Much to the disdain of Dave Filoni.
Dave Filoni does not like Carl?
No, just because Dave
confirms.
Filoni's saying I just gave you Thrawn. So everyone's like, Mara Jade.
Oh god, we'll never get through all the characters, will we?
It doesn't sound like it, but anyway, I appreciated that. And also, do you remember that ship that we said was kind of, it was a Corellian sort of ship?
Yes.
And someone with Ezra's old haircut was flying it?
Yes.
Yes, well, one of the fans in the audience asked Dave Filoni if that was Dash Rendar's ship, the Outrider.
Oh.
And it is not Dash Rendar's ship, but it is the same class's ship as the Outrider, and so that was a very intentional reference to the Outrider.
Right, okay.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it.
I mean, I guess Dash Rendar's Outrider is actually canon because of the, the special edition version of New Hope?
Yes.
That has it taken off or something, as I recall?
Yes, it might be that, yes.
So I guess it was already canon, but still a really cool nod for fans anyway. And the other thing that was revealed, and I think this will be something that you will feel very strongly about, my friend, Darth Maul was originally going to die in the Season 2 finale.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Who changed it?
Dave Filoni.
I'll kill him.
He says, this is a little bit inside, but Maul wasn't meant to survive the Malachor episode. There was a lot of thought given to taking him out there because a lot of the Malachor arc originally was more about Vader confronting Maul, and it was going to be a story about that. It became clear to me as the emotional story developed and we worked on it more that it was going to just be wrong. But if anything happened to Maul, it needed to have its proper time and its proper space. That's how he kind of got a pass and survived to this season.
That just strikes me. It's annoying because they got it so right in everything. But if they were going to make the episode primarily Vader v Maul,
that would have been stupid.
It would have been totally. It was Vader v Ahsoka.
Yes.
That was the point of the episode, or not the culmination of their character's journey.
It does kind of explain why that episode, the Ahsoka Vader stuff is really just at the end.
It does.
If this was the basis that they were working from, because Ahsoka doesn't really feature in it that much.
Could have been completely rewritten, but you're right.
Well, yeah, but I'm sure it was. Well, I mean, this would have been the basis of how they started.
True.
So, anyway, Filoni was asked if Maul taking on Vader is inevitable. And then Filoni replied, no, not necessarily. It sounds like a great idea, and then you start to develop it, and you worry it's a little bit more fan servicey. So, thankfully, it doesn't sound like that's going to happen.
No, we just got Thrawn instead. Yay! Fan service.
See, that's good fan service.
It's the best fan service. But then again, is Maul vs. Vader bad fan service? I mean, I'm still pretty keen to see it.
Yeah.
At some point. Not in that episode, but at some point I do want to see it.
It would be a good way to kill him off, actually, I've got to say.
And you could do it, you could further Vader's character. His ending, Palpatine didn't kill him at the end of Clone Wars.
That's true, yep.
But Vader would, because he's a threat to Vader. And let Filoni figure it out. I'm sure he'll write a fantastic episode instead.
We just got to sit back and watch once the show starts.
Yes.
So, no, it would definitely be fun, but depending on how they go about it, I imagine it could be really, really, fan fiction.
Yeah, yes. But I think it would be less fair. It would be weirder for Obi-Wan and Maul to meet up again. Unless...
It would, in a lot of ways, yeah. It would be more unlikely anyway.
Yeah. That would require Maul to go back to Tatooine. And unless... I suppose you could do it by the sense that, Maul just figures it out because, Anakin, he went to Tatooine to hunt Anakin or hunt the Jedi, found Anakin, and the whole story went from there. He could be sure, I'm getting off topic. We need to get through this.
Okay. Well, how about then we go to Episode 8 next? Because there's not much on Episode 8.
Very good.
Okay. So, the few things we got is Carrie Fisher had a bit of a slip.
Oh?
And she mentioned that Han's funeral takes place between Episode 7 and 8.
Oh yes, I did see that one, the funeral one. That's
Now, we know for a
Wasn't it-
fact that Episode 8 begins right the moment that Episode 7 ends.
wasn't that comment off the cuff a bit?
It was in her panel.
Right.
A fan asked about the time period in between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens, and she misinterpreted.
Right.
She thought she thought it between 7 and 8. So.
No, fair enough. Then again, this is Carrie Fisher, who is...
Oh, of course.
You know, anything she confirms, you've sort of got to wait till the film comes out to just double check.
I agree. I completely agree with that, but at the same time, a funeral scene does make sense.
It does, yes.
And it could explain why Harrison Ford was on the cast list for Episode 8.
Right, yeah.
Maybe he's just got to lie on a plinth and they burn him or something.
But how? It's like a funeral for Palpatine, where with his body, he fell into the.
Oh wait, hang on, no.
But the Millennium Falcon just zoomed down that big shaft while the whole thing was exploding, pick up his body and then fly back up.
Yeah, actually, that's a very good point.
I would like a service for him. I'd like a service.
It sounds like there'll be something anyway,
Yeah,
or at least a reference to something.
yes, it did.
So that's a very good point, though. I mean, I guess we still have no idea what to make of Harrison Ford being on the cast list then.
No. Ooh, flashbacks.
Yeah, I guess so. Which might finally mean that we finally do get the backstory that we've been craving.
Well, they've done it with the books, but have they, I suppose, is the question.
They haven't at all.
No.
There's a reason that Luke never ever appears and barely gets mentioned. In fact, I think the last time we saw Luke was in the comic that takes place immediately after Return of the Jedi, where he, for some reason, goes and hunts down the tree from the Jedi Temple on Coruscant.
Right, okay, right, fair enough. That's a valid target. Was his name Harold? Fallout reference. But
Oh! Touche! And that's really all that we actually know about Episode 8. But literally, the only other thing we found out is that filming is wrapped, and Episode 8 begins immediately after Episode 7.
Yeah, well, that's good information to know.
Yeah, I mean, we got some things like the movies that have influenced Rian Johnson, and Mark Hamill did actually say that the dialogue in this film is amazing.
His dialogue specifically?
No, just dialogue in general. He said that Rian Johnson wrote dialogue that'll make us completely forget about May the Force be with you. Apparently, he was going through the script and he's just like, that's going to be a popular line, that's going to be a popular line.
Awesome.
Beyond that, Alden... Okay, let me see if I can get this right. Alden Ehrenreich,
Nice.
I think, will play young Han Solo. Of course, this has been in the rumour mill for a very, very long time and was all but confirmed, but at Star Wars Celebration they did officially confirm it.
So they have confirmed, okay.
Yeah, so he seems like a pretty good choice.
What else has he been in?
That's a very good question, my friend. I'm trying to remember. It was what was that movie that came out not too long ago about the Hollywood years? Hail Caesar.
Oh, yes, he was.
So, yes, he's 26. So, probably about the right age for Luke.
Yeah, I assume Han Solo was in his 30s,
That's the idea from what I know, yeah. So, I mean, he'll probably be playing like a, 20-year-old Han Solo, but...
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes, I guess.
Yeah, apparently they, of course auditioned thousands of people, and this guy was literally the first person that they auditioned.
Oh, really?
And so after going through all those people, it's just like, well, that guy was the best. So...
I mean, I guess it says a lot about the rest, doesn't it?
It does. There were apparently people that looked, more like Harrison Ford.
It couldn't do the character.
But yeah, this guy apparently just sort of had the mannerisms down. Hopefully it ends up going well.
Yeah, indeed.
Because this is a movie that, obviously this is going to be something that we see happen more and more as the years go on. So, hopefully they can get the recasting thing down.
Yes.
If it's anything like Star Trek, then that'll be fine. Because the Star Trek recasts, for the Abrams-verse crew, they were perfect in every way. So
They were damn good, actually, yes. coming from a non-Star Trek fan. So,
But yeah, they're just great actors in general, but
yeah.
like, they are really on point with the original actors' performances. But anyway, let's say, my friend, do you want to go on to Rogue One, or do you want to go on to the Oddity?
We'll do Rogue One.
Okay.
But before we do Rogue One, I should probably rewatch the sizzle reel.
Indeed, that's probably a very good idea. Actually, can I just bring up one other completely random thing?
Yes, of course.
Did you hear about therapy Ewoks?
No.
So you know that Star Wars Aftermath Life Debt book?
Yep.
That introduced the concept of therapy Ewoks.
Do you mean like throwing Ewoks off their tree houses? Because, I mean, that would be therapeutic if you were, like, deranged or something.
No. You could get... If you were suffering, like, post-traumatic
Wait, no,
stress
they're not
disorder-
pets, are they? Like, those therapy dogs?
Yeah.
Oh my
You
god.
can get a therapy Ewok. Some of the Ewoks agreed to go and do this.
That's beautiful. I love the way Disney's gone PC.
It's a matter of recompense for saving their home, apparently.
Well, good, yay for Ewoks who...
I think you mean Yub Yub.
I do, yes, Yub Ewoks.
Okay, Rogue One.
I shall rewatch the sizzle reel.
Doing it now.
Oh, that was still nice.
Yeah, this looks fantastic. I mean, just on a production level, this is just amazing. I think it may even be bigger in scale, like in terms of sets and like extras and all these sort of things, than Force Awakens was.
Yeah.
It just looks grand.
It's good to see that Disney has a, like, they've still got the sets. They haven't gone back to this wonderful green screen world of the original, the prequels.
I must admit, that was one of my concerns, was that, like, since Abrams was the driving force in getting them to go and do all this, sets and things like that, I was kind of thinking that after he left, maybe Disney might just say, okay, no, this is cheaper.
Yeah, well, that's what I was worried about as well, but it seems they've still gone for it. Well, they're competing against Suicide Squad of this one, are they? Like,
How do you mean?
well, like, it's the story of a squad of people.
In a way, yes.
Um,
Of course, Suicide Squad, though, and that comes out in, a week.
This is true.
So, and it doesn't have the Star Wars brand attached. I mean, they've got the Joker and Harley Quinn and Batman, but,
Very true.
But no, in a way, I mean, we don't really still know that much about Suicide Squad, but in a way it is a sort of similar thing. These guys are definitely a Suicide Squad. But it's just impressive just to see the lengths they're going to make these movies. They almost kind of stop being movies and just have these amazing exercises in coordination and expression, and because apparently the actors were actually told to stay in character like for an hour or so, even when the cameras weren't on them.
Oh, okay.
Say, the woman playing Jin would just go and, like, she'd just sit down and cook something, even if she wasn't being filmed.
Ah, really?
They just, like, built these locations and then just told everyone to just stay in character for a while. And they'd just kind of, they'd get new ideas and new inspirations, and they'd find new shots and things like that.
That's awesome.
My one disappointment from all the Rogue One stuff that we have seen is that it definitely looks like they're not going as heavy as we thought on the Dark Forces stuff.
No, but in a way, it's kind of okay. Like,
It's totally okay. It's just kind of... I think we were a bit wrong about that in the end.
yeah, possibly. Quite possibly.
Because, what's his name? Cassian Andor or whatnot? The main male character?
Yep.
He seems quite different to Katarn. Apparently he's been with the Rebels for a while. He's kind of a hero of the Rebel Alliance. And a bit of a sort of mediator, like he kind of calms situations down. And, the droid character, which is actually played by, Alan... I never know how to pronounce this guy's name. So I'm just gonna say Alan Tudyk? Tudyk? Something like that. He was Wash on, Firefly. The pilot.
Yes, okay.
But anyway, yeah, so he plays the droid character, and the droid is an executioner droid. So he's not a Dark Trooper exoskeleton like we theorized.
I see.
With that said, though, we do, of course, have our new villain, Director Krennic, and he is the director of Advanced Weapons Research.
Oh, I see.
And he does have his own special squad of these new troopers called Death Troopers. So there could still be a hint of something there.
Oh, I know we've discussed this before, and you're keen on the Dark Troopers being the story, the Dark Forces
being in it.
But yeah, yes, I'm more okay with a homage type thing. Like, I feel like if they want to tell their own story, fair enough. But I mean, they're doing it with Thrawn as well. I imagine the Thrawn story is going to be different, but the character is there. They could have added Kyle Katarn, they could have made it Jen Oars or whatever, but they redo the story, but they didn't. But
that's just more the sort of thing is that I'm warming up to it more and more, but at the same time, it's like you're replacing stuff that I like.
Yes, this is true.
But I mean, of course, as someone actually did point out to us in the comments, though, Kyle Katarn actually stole the second half of the Death Star plans.
Ah, right.
Originally, there was like a little caveat in the original book, the novelization of Dark Forces or something like that, and apparently some sort of rebel squadron stole the first half of the plans, and then Kyle stole the second half. So
right.
Technically, you could still fit him in there.
Yeah, indeed.
Almost, anyway. So that's kind of fun, at least.
It would be cool if he rocked up and then there was a lightsaber fight between him and Vader at the end.
But he doesn't have a lightsaber at this point.
If he's having a fight with Vader, he kind of needs one. And if he's having a fight with Vader, the storyline's already changed.
Well, hey, my friend, we will be getting to Vader. But
We shall be getting to Vader. Good. I hear is a big part of it.
But one other thing I want to mention on the topic of Dark Troopers, though, is, of course, we noticed them in the Rebels trailer.
Yeah.
And given that we have this thing established now called the Advanced Weapons Research, I was wondering if that might be Rebels kind of doing a little tie. This might be an opportunity for them to do a tie to Rogue One, so they could, the Advanced Weapons Research people made these Dark Troopers. That
would be really smart.
So, put me on the Lucasfilm. Sorry, LucasArts is dead. The Lucasfilm story group. I'm ready.
Are we all ready?
So, one cool thing about the villain, from my perspective anyway, is that he's played by Ben Mendelsohn, who is an Australian actor, and Ben Mendelsohn said that he's going to be an Australian villain, which I love.
Ah.
So, for once, we're actually not going to have a British commander.
No, we'll have I want an Australian. I want to see how the Crocodile Death Squadron deals with the Rebel scum.
You call that a lightsaber? This is a lightsaber.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I think that will be it's nice to see a space Australian in there. Anyway, something that you probably did notice in that trailer is that we've got Imperial tanks now. And I think that this is the first time we've ever seen a tank in the Star Wars movies. Well, sorry, in the Empire.
Yeah, probably would be.
Because we saw the Republic tanks in a few shots in episode 2 or 3. Or am I only thinking of Battlefront?
Battlefront, there is no tanks at all in Star Wars. There's...
you're right.
Closest thing to a tank is...
The droid...
The droid tank, yeah, the droid one on Kashyyyk. Yeah, the Republic and the Empire like their walkers in the films.
Yeah, they do. So, anyway, it's just an interesting little detail. One thing, because I've got all these notes here, so I'm not just pulling this out of my head. One thing I noted is that I love how crappy the Stormtrooper armor is, because Donnie Yen's character literally karate chops the Stormtrooper through his armor.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
How does that work?
The Stormtrooper armor is shit. If rocks could penetrate it, why couldn't a karate master?
Exactly. It's just one of those, it just makes no sense.
Yes.
But, anyway, so, something that, of course, is old news now, but it was revealed that Forrest Whitaker's character is Saw Gerrera from Clone Wars.
Ah.
Did you not hear about this? Or...
No, I did not.
Yeah, so remember the cool old man who we were wondering about in the armor?
Yep.
Yeah, he is Saw Gerrera from, I think it was season 3 of the Clone Wars. He looks nothing at all like Saw Gerrera from the Clone Wars, mind you. And in fact, I think Saw Gerrera was different, had a completely different skin tone and all that. In fact, yeah, he kind of looks a bit more. I don't know what you'd say exactly.
How does one spell his name?
I'll send you a picture.
Very good.
It's probably the easiest. It's a bit of a weird spelling, I must admit.
It's Star Wars.
But he's kind of got an orange complexion in Clone Wars, which is just a bit weird. But
oh, him.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they certainly captured his eyes.
I mean, it's Forrest Whitaker playing him, so he's going to be fantastic no matter what.
Oh yeah.
But it's just it's an interesting, a very random connection, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. It's well.
Because Dave Filoni came out and he's like, "Hey guys, this was what we were talking about. This is finally fulfilling our promise. It's all connected." And it's like, well, sort of, yeah.
You've got a character in there.
A character that I don't think anyone has remembered since the episode aired, but.
No, well, that's the thing you asked. Have you not heard about this? I'm like, I don't even know who you're talking about.
Well, they mentioned it on Jesse Cox's book club, so I thought you might have heard of that.
Ah.
But
I had not yet.
It's just a very strange connection, but it doesn't. I'm sure it's not going to matter. I'm sure they're not going to mention the Clone Wars really at all.
Oh, probably not.
I mean, like maybe just like he's just a battle-hardened, grizzled warrior. So yeah, I don't think we've got a lot to say about Saw Gerrera, but I'm very excited to see the character regardless. Because a cool grizzled war veteran is always a fun character. Although I definitely think he'll be one of the earlier characters to die.
Probably. Well, possibly. I'm keen for seeing all the characters. I think that they all look interesting.
Agreed. It's a really interesting mix of people.
It is.
That you don't normally see in Star Wars. Not a Jedi among them.
No, which is good, thank God.
Yes. So, there is a scene in this trailer, I noticed, where one of the main characters, and I still do not have all the names of them committed to memory.
No.
But one of them is dressed up as an Imperial officer, and he's fighting against a Stormtrooper.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if that might lend more credence to, Jyn Erso in her Imperial outfit being a ruse to steal the plans rather than being a betrayal.
That would make total sense.
Now, one of the most exciting things that I saw about Rogue One is the seeming return of Bail Organa. And I'm going to send you a photo here, my friend.
I haven't seen this.
Yes, so if you stop the frame, it looks very much like Jimmy Smits.
Oh, it does.
So, and it would make complete sense. In fact, he should be in this movie, really.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's awesome.
So, I'm very excited for that. I don't imagine that we'll get like a young Leia or anything like that. I think they would have mentioned that by now. But, I think that's a very cool way to tie it in.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that a fair bit.
And of course, next to him, we actually have what looks to be someone, the older man who, what would you say, sort of instructed the pilots in Episode 4?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I can never remember that guy's name. He's a very obscure character, but...
Oh, what is his name? Dodonna.
Dodonna?
Dodonna, I think.
You are correct.
Excellent.
Yes, General Jan Dodonna. Good memory, my friend. Very good memory.
It took me a while, but... yeah, well, that'd be cool to see both of them.
Yeah, it just makes everything look like it should. Because the thing with, Rebels is that it's taking a really, really long time for things to look like they should look.
Yeah.
And it makes the Rebel Alliance seem much younger and less well-equipped than it seems in Episode 4.
Yeah, it's like... it is also only 2 seasons in.
Yeah, but we're only 2 years out from Episode 4.
Yeah, but a lot can fucking happen in
Yeah, I know, but it always... And I think in old canon it was established that, the Rebel Alliance had been around for a lot longer than it has been in current canon.
Well, the start of the rebellion was a deleted scene in Episode 3.
Well, I deleted scene in Episode 3, and then, of course, that was changed to the end of Force Unleashed.
Yes.
But regardless, it was a much earlier point in history. Anyway, we're getting off topic, but...
We are prone to do that.
One thing I did want to bring up is that, of course, at the end of the trailer, Jyn says, "May the Force be with us." Does that feel a bit weird for the time period and, the character that's saying it?
Let's wait till the film comes out.
Yeah. For all we know, that scene may not be in the film.
Indeed. Is it weird for... yes. I guess so.
Just because, like, I always just go back to Han Solo,
Yeah.
the Force.
It seems weird that's just off topic as always. The fact that Han Solo is like, I've been around a lot of places, I've seen a lot of things. It's like, yeah, but the way the Star Wars canon's been established is that the Force guides everything. Even all of your hokey, the Witches of Dathomir use the Force.
Yep.
It's like, yeah.
You gotta remember, like, Han Solo, he's just he's been around, like, he's seen the Wookiee slavery and stuff like that. He's seen the Empire up close. He had a pretty crappy childhood.
True.
Like, he's probably not going to be someone to believe in something bigger. I've had crap luck all my life. I'm trying to turn that around myself.
Yeah, that's true.
But the only thing that could, change what I said about, Jin saying, "May the Force be with us," is that they mentioned at Star Wars Celebration that we have the planet Jeddah. And it's Jedha. And apparently this is a Mecca-style location for people who believe in the Force.
Ah, right.
So this could be like... You remember in Force Awakens how, like, Lor San Tekka mentions, like, the Church of the Force or something like that? Or, well, a supplementary material does anyway.
Yeah.
Perhaps Jeddah is where that comes from.
That'd be cool to see.
And they mentioned that there's a reason that the name Jeddah is so close to Jedi.
Okay, well, I'm keen on that. I'm keen on hearing that.
Actually, it just occurred to me, there was the whole thing about Luke going to find the first Jedi temple.
There was.
I wonder if this could actually tie into Episode 8 in that way.
That'd be cool.
There's so many things that this movie could actually do to tie into Episode 8. It's crazy.
It would be. It's also essential that it's done right to tie the original trilogy to, like, to make the story.
Yeah.
Fit.
It would be more breadcrumb dropping than anything, but I mean, we've still got that mysterious kneeling robed figure from the first trailer that we know nothing about.
Yep, that's true.
So, yeah, I feel like this movie has a lot of surprises for us. Because I must admit, like, in the Star Wars Celebration clip, we basically didn't see much of anything, did we?
No.
Like, that we can really, like, there's no story beats or anything, and everything basically takes place on the one planet. Which, by the way, is called Scarif.
Oh, is it?
It's the beach world.
Ah, I see.
Aside from that, though, at Comic-Con, we actually got 2 more characters revealed. And I'll send you a little link, because there are actually some pretty cool designs, particularly the second one. So we've got a character called Pow.
Oh, yes.
And he's just... he's nicknamed Big Mouth, because he's got a giant mouth, and so that's basically the design of his character. And the other guy, who I think looks really awesome, is Edaro Two Tubes.
I can see him. He looks...
He has 3 tubes, actually, but...
What's the third tube you're counting?
You can see what I mean? Yeah, there's one coming down out of the thing on his chest.
I had to scroll down the picture.
It's a cool design, though.
It is.
And he's apparently a mercenary pilot who flies alongside his eggmate, Benfic. Edrio's world, Yar Togna, was conquered and also occupied by the Empire, forcing him to flee as a refugee. Desiring to strike back at the Empire, Edrio and Benfic have allied with Saw Gerrera. Or Gerrera, I was saying. I might have actually been saying his name wrong all the time.
Interesting. Well, I don't really know. I don't have so much to comment, because I'm like, out of Star Wars. Like, out of Rogue One, at least. I'm just waiting for the film, because Episode 7 was so good, I don't want to look at Rogue One. I just want to see the movie for the...
Well, I mean, again, though, they probably like Force Awakens. Until we get really close to release, there's not going to be much in the way of spoilers.
No, there's no spoilers. I don't know, I'm a terrible person to be having a Star Wars discussion with.
Well, here is something that you can discuss, my friend. Darth Vader is in the film.
Yes.
And he's voiced by James Earl Jones. Well, and he was actually shown in teaser footage at the Star Wars Celebration event, which we don't get to see.
At all? Ever?
No.
Damn it.
But still, that's pretty cool.
It's bloody cool.
We all expected it, but it's still pretty cool.
Well, to me, Darth Vader is the thing that makes it a Suicide Squad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
there's no way he's not going to come in and kill everyone at the end.
I wonder if they'll try and make him more like the Vader in Episode 4. Like,
tear the ship apart, I want them alive!
Exactly.
Sort of, not quite as, Well, I mean, actually, quantify that. Quantify that. What do you mean by Episode 4 as opposed to Episode 5 and 6?
Well, looks is as much as anything. Like, the Vader suit was not perfect.
I'm positive they will try and match for Episode 4 suit.
But yeah, in a sense, Persona as well.
He does act differently.
He's not as refined, or because he's a newer character. He's a brand new character to the audience, and how he was written was different to Empire. Empire nailed it. New Hope's still good, but Vader played a different role in A New Hope than he did in Empire. He was, in a sense, like the henchman. He was just done well enough, that he continued to be the main bad guy.
Yes, exactly. It will be very interesting to see how they handle him. Do you think we'll see much Vader, or do you think it will just be at the end of the film, and that's it?
I would like to see a bit of Vader.
They have mentioned that apparently Director Krennic is at odds with Darth Vader, and Darth Vader's kind of constantly breathing down his neck.
that would be intense. It would make it difficult to work.
So that implies we will see a bit more of him. But I do wonder how much Darth Vader they're going to do, because, naturally they wouldn't want to overuse the character.
No, well, I suppose the Rebels makes having Vader in okay, because if Rebels could do it, why can't a film?
That's true, although to be fair, Rebels didn't use much Vader either.
No, but they did it really well.
They did, that's true.
The character of Vader is evil, and his arc, I mean, he was the central character, I suppose, of the prequels, and sort of a main character in the original trilogy, you could say. You could say that Vader was a main character.
Yeah, definitely.
But, there's so much more to him, and he's just ridiculously evil in the comics and the TV shows.
Oh, yeah.
So, just use that. Unleash the Vader.
Yeah, that would just be the fun thing, is just Vader unleashed.
Yes.
Any Force Unleashed attacks?
I hope so. I hope he uses the Force to, bowling ball a guy into the side of a building and then have the building collapse.
It will be interesting to see how crazy they do make Vader, because, of course, he wasn't really that crazy in the original trilogy. As opposed to, what comics and things have done with him.
Yeah.
The first Star Wars series of comics, in the first 3 issues, you see Vader dual-wield his old lightsaber, which he takes from Luke, and, he's just, he's controlling one lightsaber with the Force and impaling guys, and while also fighting hand-to-hand with his other lightsaber.
That's pretty intense.
He takes down a AT-AT.
Exactly.
With the Force.
I want them to tone it back a little bit, because
it would look ridiculous in the live action.
But that is also Vader. I mean, Vader is so much more in the films. He's a character, but he's also a bad guy. An awesome bad guy who's unbelievably powerful.
And who has to kill all these characters.
Yes, and who will slaughter almost all of them. I'm sure AT-AT will take one down.
Yeah, I can see that happening, I must admit. The last thing that I really have about Rogue One is that we're not getting an opening crawl.
Yeah, yes.
And I think it makes sense, but I also kind of feel like it will be, in a way, something will be missing from the start of the film in just regards to the da-da-da-da-da-da.
It depends if they replace it with anything. If
True.
it's... I mean, I actually kind of agree with you, because, George Lucas envisioned Star Wars to be like a soap opera, like the Flash Gordon, and so it was just episodes.
Yeah, and this is really another episode. Well,
yeah, exactly.
It's an episode in the traditional sense, not an episode in the Star Wars sense.
Exactly. I suppose I kind of am annoyed by it simply because it's a bastardization of the word episode.
Yes. Yes.
But at the same, if they replace it with something that's maybe not as memorable, but if it's just get rid of it and then the stars appear and it just moves to a different scene, or pans down or whatever, it'll just be annoying. But if they do something interesting with the opening,
yeah, it just depends on how they approach it. I imagine they'll just approach it like a normal film this time, though, rather than a Star Wars film. That's the thing. I look forward to the opening moments of a Star Wars film. There's a feeling that you get when you see the opening moments to a Star Wars film in the cinema.
Yeah.
There's nothing else.
Absolutely.
So, to be fair, Kathleen Kennedy does say that we're in the midst of talking about it, still. But at this stage, they're not going to have one.
Fair enough.
And the last thing that we really got out of Star Wars Celebration, well, aside from, the Battlefront stuff and a few little things like that, was that we're getting a Darth Vader VR movie written by David Goyer, who wrote Dark Knight. This is kind of crazy.
It is, and it makes me so happy that I'm buying a Vive.
Yes, well, Trials of Tatooine is available for free.
Yes.
I watched someone play it, and it is shit. But,
Oh, yes, it's...
it's neat, but at the same time, it's so basic.
It's very... I would like to try just because it's free and
of course,
to see what it's like with VR, because...
And you do get to swing around a lightsaber.
Exactly, what's not to love about it?
Well, you don't actually get to cut anything.
No, you just blast bolts back at Stormtroopers.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's still really cool. It's just kind of... It was a little bit underwhelming when I finally saw the full thing.
It was, but...
Anyway, so, the movie is going to be focused on Darth Vader. It is a brand new interactive story centered around the iconic Star Wars character, allowing viewers to be part of a persistent world that has a day-night cycle. Now, that makes no sense with a VR movie, does it?
No, but it depends on how they do it. I'm actually fascinated. Just saying that they include a day-night cycle means that it sounds like it's going to be more interactive than...
Well, actually, on that note then, you are the visitor in this story, but it's happening in and around you, and to a certain extent you might even have some effect on. Noting that you'll be able to open, push, and pick up things, as well as walk around and even touch other characters.
The thing that worries me, and there's sort of two ways to how I imagine it to be. The Trials on Tatooine is like a rendered experience, whereas I'd like to see a 3D, VR film, live action film. I'd love to see how that...
Yes, I'm pretty positive that this will be rendered.
Yes, yeah, but if it's interactive, it has to be.
Yeah. But I agree, I feel like we are going to see that. Even if we don't see it from Star Wars, we are going to see that from something.
Yeah, at some point.
But that would just be amazing to, can you imagine, standing on Hoth during the battle?
It would be so incredible.
Oh. Someone's got to do that sometime. Just take all these iconic Star Wars moments and just let you be in them. I think it's impossible now, but still.
Well.
But this experience is... it's got a long way to go from the sound of it. Goya said that he's really, really excited for a year or two whenever it happens.
Right, okay. So it's... Yeah.
Although apparently there was a brief teaser at Star Wars Celebration, but I haven't seen that online anywhere, so... It was a very stealthy announcement, and I'm very... and one of the more exciting announcements, frankly.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the most exciting ones was the Battlefront is apparently getting the Death Star.
Oh, actually, sorry, my friend, the teaser actually is online.
Oh, is it? I simply must look.
It's just Darth Vader walking towards the camera in slow-mo, though.
Well, it's always worth a watch to see that. If they could maintain that fidelity, though.
Oh, it's gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's no reason why it's not possible. It's just unlikely.
Yes.
But that is really the fidelity you need to create a truly convincing and immersive VR experience, I would imagine.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But, consider me hyped.
Yes. Oh, shit, yes, after seeing that.
But anyway, my friend, you were saying about Battlefront.
Well, there's the Death Star now, apparently. Well,
which looks like it is space combat.
Yes, well, that would be good. But...
Sort of. I mean, I think it's probably just that they've created a space environment and overlaid their fighter assault gameplay.
that would be my bet as well.
But beyond that, though, we did actually get the Rogue One DLC announcement.
Yes, we did.
And, director Krennic is actually one of the... Well, he's the Empire's playable character, which I think is really, really cool, because that guy's costume is awesome.
It is, yes. He better have the damn cloak.
He'll have to, surely.
Does that mean it's pure speculation, but I suppose we didn't see Dengar or the Celestian fight. But it's like, if this guy's a hero, do we get to see him fight in Rogue One? Is he going to...
I wouldn't bet on it, honestly.
No.
Although, then again, he's with the troops in a lot of the footage.
And he is Australian.
That's true. That's true. Hey, you never know.
No. Well,
the only problem is that he's probably going to be another one of these characters who fights just with a blaster pistol again.
Yeah, well, that's the most exciting part of Battlefront. That blaster pistol.
Yes, everyone has Blaster Pistol. Battlefront, of course, did get another update as well, my friend, which you have been testing out.
Do you know how big it was?
No?
12 gigs.
What?
Yeah, it was a 12 gigabyte update.
12 gig for single-player skirmishes?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So, do you want to just run people through, like, what the update had?
It has Fighter Squadron with, complete bots, and it has Walker Assault maps. It has a fair bit of, content. It's 7 Walker Assault maps, I think, and 8 Fighter Squadron. I could be wrong, but it's...
Okay.
Does
it have the DLC?
Doesn't have any DLC maps. Even in Fighter Squadron, I don't think. Not that I have the DLC, but the hero... When you get a hero token, you can see that the DLC heroes are blocked out, but on the mission select screen, you can't see any DLC missions blotted out.
So maybe heroes are available, but not content then.
Which is a stupid idea. If you're going to do it,
immensely.
Just add, if you're going to do 12 gigs, you could probably do 15 and add the DLC maps. If they had DLC single-player maps, I might buy the DLC.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, well, they just miss out on money in the end.
Indeed.
But you have actually played the modes, my friend, so how was it?
It was acceptable. It was more of a testament to the fact that I don't think the new Battlefront is a particularly good Battlefront game, rather than that the AI was bad. The AI is subpar, but it works. It's about as functional as the original Battlefronts.
Okay, so it's fun AI then?
It is. It's fun, and it's, it spreads out, from points, so it's not like the huge congestion battles.
Okay.
It moves out, and the Walker Assault map is a moving map, so...
True, that's true.
They do move, and you can see them retreating when the Walker starts to advance. It plays out nicely. The AI is acceptable. It does exactly what it needs to do. The game itself, however, is just uninteresting to me.
Yeah.
It looks so shiny. It looks like Star Wars. It's so good with that, but the fact that you can only choose 2 custom loadouts. I say custom, 2 set loadouts. So you can't choose any of those pickup cards. Most of the time, the maps involve both of the 2 choices having jetpacks, which means it's like there's all this variety which you get none of.
I bet you what they've done there actually, because it was the same in the beta with the the local co-op survival mode.
Yeah.
You could only choose from 2 set things. So I bet what they've done is they've just taken that and slapped it on here.
Most likely. It's good, but it's longevity. I mean, 7 maps is actually probably fine. I mean, I play a rotation of 7 maps when I play Battlefront. I don't play a lot of the maps. I play them occasionally, but I do focus on Red VAR and Bestman platforms.
Yes, definitely. So let me just ask then: are there any standout maps? I mean, I imagine you just it's what Hoth, Tatooine, Sullust, and Endor.
There's 2 Hoth. There's the Hoth that you get from the beta.
Mm-hmm.
There's Twilight Hoth or something, so it's nighttime Hoth.
Oh, okay.
Some of that takes place in caves specifically.
Right.
It's quite interesting, but there's no standout maps because it feels I haven't played them enough, but because it's a moving battlefield, there are some parts that are interesting, some parts that aren't. But
there aren't the same sort of degree of landmarks as there were in the original Battlefront.
No, because the maps are so much bigger. It makes it and it's so crisp and beautiful that it makes it difficult to find a focal point. There's crashed crashed shuttles on Endor. There's an Endor burning map, which is the aftermath of the Battle of Endor, where there's Death Star debris.
That was free DLC actually.
Oh yes.
So interesting that they included that.
Yes, good that they did, because that map's interesting. There's a Jakku map, which is also free DLC. There is.
I'm glad they got that one in there, though.
Yeah. The Tatooine map is probably the most interesting.
Oh, okay.
The Tatooine and the Sullust map. Sullust is cool just because it's a lava installation map.
Right.
The Fighter Squadron maps are just the same. They're all the maps again. I think they added. In the only map they added in Fighter Squadron was the single player mission with that big Jawa fortress in the middle of
the valley.
That's also in Fighter Squadron.
Okay.
To be
Well,
honest,
that's
that's probably the most standout map just because it is stunningly beautiful. But
Yes, that one was.
Fighter Squadron has its own issues. The hit boxes are atrocious.
Okay.
Do
Do
I
you
don't
mean
know.
like you missed a lot, or do
No,
you?
it's this very specific fact that you can see that you've hit them because this game uses these flashy, like, Star Wars-esque, like, bolts of, like, flying
Hmm.
shards every time a blaster bolt hits. You can literally see, like, 4 or 5 shots hitting the back of an X-Wing or a TIE fighter and no damage being done. They're still
What?
full health. Your targeting reticule has to go gold, I'm pretty sure, for it to
Oh,
actually start damaging them. But you can see very clearly that you've hit them. I
that's
don't know.
ridiculous. Yep.
I don't know if it's a carryover from multiplayer or what, but it's not good.
Maybe it was something to do with trying to get around latency.
Yeah, well, I don't expect them to be like, real Star Wars where 2 laser bolts blows up a TIE fighter, but if I can see that, a good 10 or so of my laser blasts have hit, I had one case with the Slave 1 where it completely glitched out, and I fired dead into the back of I was like following this, X-Wing,
Mhm.
and I was shooting constantly at it, and it might have had its shield up, but I swear to God I was shooting him for like 10 seconds before he moved, because it goes into a straight path. But, and he didn't take any damage at all. Other problem I have, just a minor nitpick, is the fact that the Slave 1 only has 1 blaster cannon.
Yes, but that's a single player or multiplayer.
Yes, but it's still annoying as fuck, because it uses the same sound as though there were 2.
It does, yeah. Yeah, I remember people complaining about that, including you, actually, at the time.
Nah, we'll complain about it forever. Someone will listen.
That'll be the big addition in Battlefront 2. That's why they call it Battlefront 2.
Yes, 2 cannons. I love it.
The two on the logo will be just 2 blaster cannons.
I love the sound of it.
We've heard you. We're not adding single player. We're not adding any features that you want. We're just adding another cannon to the Slave One. Now buy it.
Yes. And the season pass. With 3 laser cannons.
Oh dear, but so yes, it sounds like Battlefront has gotten better, but it's still Battlefront.
Yeah, it's better in the sense that I'm now able to play it.
Yes,
Like, I just don't care for
and
multiplayer.
of course you can do local multiplayer as well.
Yeah, you can do split screen. The fact is,
That's cool. That's rare now.
so I'm happy with that. That's damn good.
But I think that's pretty much everything from Star Wars Battlefront. We'll start with Star Wars in general, honestly.
I think that wraps it up. Like, as far as talk about points.
Yep, so we got a solid amount of Star Wars information, not quite as much as I was actually expecting ahead of Celebration, I must admit. I was kind of thinking we might get a few more juicy details, but we've had to kind of put a lot of things together. But it was still a very good Star Wars Celebration, and, of course, not too much longer to wait for more Star Wars goodness.
Not at all.
So, yes, Rogue One is December 16th or something, I think?
So at some point.
Something like that. It's basically got Force Awakens slot from last year.
I have great faith in Disney's marketing ability to
Yes.
tell me when Rogue One comes out.
Yeah, there'll be no missing it, especially if they do what Force Awakens did and we get 600 trailers in like the 3 weeks before it comes out.
Oh, that would be good.
Which I cannot watch because of spoilers. Oh, that was painful. But anyway, so thank you very much for joining me, Dizzy.
Oh, not at all.
It's always fun to discuss Star Wars, and I'm sure we'll be back at some point throughout the year.
At some point, I might be less lethargic about Star Wars, and after seeing Rogue One, I'll be like, holy shit, that was amazing.
So, thank you, Dizzy. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you next time. Dizzy,
Yes?
say goodbye.
Goodbye. I sort of grunted an acknowledgement of farewell to them, but I suppose that didn't come up with...
I didn't hear it, actually.
Ah.
I must admit, so perhaps it didn't get picked up.
Yes, well, it was also an inappropriate send-off. I was kind of reading something, and I was...